welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. There has been a pretty sizable King of Fighters 15 patch, and also, yes, the 3 DLC characters of Team Goro are now out and live. Now, I know you're probably wondering, wait, how are they out and live? There's been no trailer with an announced date. They just dropped them? Yeah, they just dropped them, turns out. So you can just go and download them right now. So the patch that comes with the game is not a massive balance patch. However, we do have news on that. There will be a large and sizable balance patch coming with the launch of Team Southtown, the Geese Howard team. So when that team DLC drops, we will get a very sizable balance patch. But for now, we do have this patch, and there still is some changes, some small buffs, some small tweaks, and some bug fixes, so let's go over it. Now, first off, there is indeed a lot of bug fixes. I'll post a link to the full patch notes in the video description if you want to check that out. Not every single bug fix will merit discussion, honestly, but just so you know. Now, first off here, there is a new addition to training mode. So if we go into our menu here, go to guard, we have now one hit guard. And what it specifically is doing is specifically just alternating between hit and guard every single time. So one time it'll guard, next time it'll hit. And what the purpose here basically is to check out frame traps to see what has gaps. If it's a situation where everything's going to be like a true hit, like you could not stop blocking even if you wanted to, then it won't, right? But if there's any kind of gap in between what's going on, then it will just stop blocking and get hit. So it's just another way to just suss out tech. The input window for backdashes specifically has been changed to prevent a lot of accidental backdashes. I myself, especially with the characters that have moves that are back and then quarter circle back and a button, I've had some issues getting accidental backdashes. So for the most part, that seems to be resolved and fixed. Also, Shatter Strike. So now if you catch someone in the air with Shatter Strike, the wall bounce is universal. Depending on the character, it might change a little bit. It is now the same across the board. So now going into the character specific changes here, Dolores, her anti-air grab, the light version specifically, I guess you can call this a nerf if you want to, but her damage scaling is now fixed. So basically it does the damage it's supposed to do now. It scales in line with how moves normally scale. So I guess in a way it's sort of a nerf, but it's just realistically bringing it in line with how it's supposed to be. Vanessa only changes quality of life change. So her machine gun puncher, that's half circle forward and punch. It has lowered command input priority, meaning if you're kind of holding back or down back already and then going for it, you'll get the rush punch, the charge punch instead. So depending on how you play, that could be a buff or a nerf, but it's just quality of life. So Ash is just bug fixes mostly. One change, not letting him cancel his level 1 Fireball Super into his level 2 Super. That was also the Fireball Super. Can't normally do that, so that's been fixed. And specifically on his Flash Kick style of move, that has been changed. So there's more block stun. So before, how it worked is you could block the first hit and maybe get hit by the second hit, because that's just how that worked. And now that is no longer the case. As long as you block correctly, you'll block all of it, right? So it won't be you let go of block and then got smacked in the face or whatever. So once again, it's basically just a bug fix. Ralf, big nerfs, right? No, once again, this is not that patch. The big balance patch will come with Geese Howard. But there is one change here besides some bug fixes. So his Vulcan punch is basically just like a mash, right? So they changed the mash input needed to 5 inputs instead of 4. So if you're prone to mashing like a crazy person, that means it'll accidentally come out less. Although if you specifically timed your buttons, like you're trying to piano it, that's actually a straight nerf, because now you have to do an extra input. So it's a buff to mashers and a nerf to people who play more precision. Now, even though we just said this isn't the big balance patch, Whip actually got some significant buffs. Whip is pretty much widely considered the worst character in the game, which is a damn shame because she was basically considered the worst character in the game, King of Fighters 14 as well, and she got massive buffs from 14 to 15, and she's still bad, even after all those. So let's talk her buffs. So her Sonic Slaughter, that's this guy here. This move is OTG okay, so you can actually pick people up off the ground with this move. Like right there, that's an example, right? So I hit you with the overhead, you're splatted, that's a hard knockdown, then I can super you after the fact. So it's been normalized in a way. So the first hit of the super actually does way more damage. It does 75 instead of 25. So So the initial hit before damage scaling starts, because of multiple hits, does more damage. However, the final hit now does 20 damage instead of 70. But overall, this means you'll be doing more damage, as the biggest hit of the move happens in the very first part, so it's ahead of a lot of the damage scaling. So going back to that overhead, it is now 90 damage for the base version of the move. So before it was 70, so it's a pretty sizable chunk. And also keep in mind, once again here, you can OTG after the fact, and that OTG super has this damage front loaded now instead of the back, so that little setup now just basically does more damage across the board. The EX version now does 120 damage versus 80 damage, so that's another very sizable buff. You'll get a lot more damage from it. And while we're here, just because most people don't know how to play Whip, just so you know, this move also destroys projectiles and creates your own projectile, the EX version. So, in case you didn't know, now you know. But yeah, so the regular and EX versions of the moves just do more damage across the board. Her Strength Shot, that's her mix-up series, where she can go high or low, or go for a plus on block move. The heavy version, the last hit of her stomping on your head has had a significant damage buff. Goes up to now 60 points of damage, although it's scaled right now, but goes up to 60 from 30. So that just basically means this move does more damage. You might notice just across the board, she's just doing a lot more damage. Also, Boomerang Shot's now been changed. If only the first part connects and not the second part of the follow-up. The first part is a true hard knockdown now. So even if you don't happen to get all of it, it is still a true hard knockdown. They are not able to roll out like they were before. So, you know, you want to get both hits, sure, but now if you only get the one, you're at least rewarded with a heavy knockdown. So it's not necessarily properties changing, but still, Whip is now doing more damage across the board on a lot of key moves. So for a small / minor patch, that's very welcome. Now, Antonov only got one change, but it's actually a fairly big change, even though it doesn't seem like it. So close standing heavy kick. So this guy here, this big old boot, right? Extended the hitbox downwards. Before, it could basically only hit the absolute tip of the kick. And what this allows actually is both easier max combo routes and all new max combo routes. So before, if you want to max off like the overhead, right? And his sweep's an overhead, and that's just a weird property of the character. Going close heavy kick, hard combo is what you wanted to do. But the thing is, you had to delay it so much for the enemy to like raise their head up so the move would actually connect. Like in real match play, I probably drop it half the time. The timing was ridiculously strict for what it was. Now though, it's dirt easy. Like all you gotta do is just delay 1 split second and you'll get it every single time. And the reason this is good, it's the only move that combos into his heavy punch whale stream, which is very damaging and leads to a lot of stuff, right? So now this combo, which I probably drop half the time, easy peasy, no big deal. So that's great in and of itself. Okay, one max combo route is easier, but now there's max combo routes that were not possible before. Like, say, crouch heavy punch into the command normal, right? That's well and good, and you will use it in max mode. Like, you'll just go for close heavy. But the thing is, close heavy combos don't do as much damage. But if you tried to go for max into close heavy kick, you'd whiff every time. It would not be possible. But now, thanks to the buffs, it totally is possible. You can totally do it. Simply put, this would not have worked before. Like, not possible. Like, in no way, shape, or form would this have been doable. Like, if you were literally point blank, maybe, and then even then it still would have been difficult. Any kind of range, not possible. Once again, the close heavy kick into HP whale stream. This is basically your most damaging normal string. So this effectively means his maximo damage specifically for max combos is going up mostly across the board. It's not going to be like a wild amount, but it does lead to more effective damage for Antonov. Now Shermie, technically this is a bug fix here, but bear with me, I'm just going to do a basic combo. And you're probably wondering, okay, well, what am I showing you exactly? Well, the reason I did this combo is because I'm doing it against King of Dinosaurs. And King of Dinosaurs, this combo wouldn't work against him. It would work against every single other character in the game, yes, but it wouldn't work against him specifically. Now, don't ask me why it wouldn't work against him. You know, it's a wrestling thing maybe. You know, he doesn't like taking the Germans. You tell Shermie, that's not going to work for me, sister, right? But now he has to play along with kayfabe, and he has to take the combo like every other character in the game does. So, it's a bug fix, yes, but if you're fighting King of Dinosaurs, you kind of want to be able to do your basic combos, right? So now she can against King of Dinosaurs. And that is the more significant patch changes as they stand. Once again, this is not the big patch. It has some nice quality of life changes, especially if you play Whip, right? Or Antonov. But it's mostly about adding the new characters to the game, for sure. So if you're looking to play Rock, be Janet, or Gato, well, now they're here. And you can mess around with them. Very heavily anticipated team, to say the least, for sure. Rock has 2 different level 3s. Like, that's that special boy privilege, I guess, right? One does more damage, and the other one does less damage, but buffs all of his moves. And gives all of his moves new properties he didn't have before, because his regular elbow does not have a beam attached to it normally, right? Expect a lot of coverage on the characters over the next couple of days on the channel, so play around with those, but that's the patch as it stands. And for those of you who are hoping they just didn't outright cripple Ralf, Vanessa, and Terry, well, they didn't. Or at the very least, they got a stay of execution, so May will be D-Day for the big patch. Expect Geese Howard, Billy Kane, Yamazaki, and whatever big balance changes they have in mind for us. I hope they go kind of gentle on the stronger characters, don't cripple them. And going by Whip and Antonov, hopefully they understand, hey, we know why some of the weaker characters are weak, and they get the balance changes that they need. Anyways, my friends, that's it for this video, and that's all the knowledge we have for the moment. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some King of Fighters.